VocalEye Almost Live Zoom PuSh Festival Preview, hosted by Amy and Amantea, with special guest Andrea Cownden.
All right, everyone, welcome. It's 2026. I want to welcome you all back after the holiday season to this almost live VocalEye event. My name is Amy. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the Associate Director here at VocalEye. I'm your host for these almost live events, and I'm a proud member of this community, blind, partially sighted, low vision. You're my chosen family, and I missed you over these last couple of weeks that we took a little bit of time off. So I hope you all had a good holiday season, however you spend that with friends or family, or even solo on Zoom, whatever you're doing. I hope you were able to enjoy it or relax or sleep in. I did a little bit of all of those things. So thank you to you all for joining us and thinking about us while we had our time off. And welcome back to another fabulous year of almost live and VocalEye activities. If folks want to connect with us, and if you're watching us maybe on our YouTube channel, you can also connect with us. You can like and subscribe to this channel. You can check us out on our newsletters and our website at vocaleye.ca. You can send us testimonials, and you can make donations. Of course, everything is most welcome. So thank you so much for joining us. VocalEye is broadcasting to you all from the traditional and unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, in particular the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. So there isn't one single way that Indigenous peoples welcome in the new year. This is traditionally Indigenous peoples have welcomed in the new year because, of course, Indigenous cultures are diverse. They are place-based, and they're rooted in relationships to the land, to the seasons, to the community. Many nations don't mark the air quotes new year on January the 1st at all. Instead, renewal is often tied to natural cycles. For many Indigenous cultures, the quote new year aligns with winter solstice, so the return of the light. Welcoming renewal often involves ceremony such as smudging, so cleansing and grounding, prayer, songs and drumming, feasts and communal gatherings, storytelling and teachings from the elders. These moments focus on balance, gratitude, and intention rather than celebration for celebration's sake. Instead of resolutions, many traditions, emphasize reflecting on how one has lived in relationship to others and to the land. Recommitting to responsibilities is a big thing, to family, to community, to ancestors, and to future generations, honoring those who have passed and welcoming those yet to come. It's less, quote, new year, new me, and more, quote, new cycle, renewed responsibility. Renewal is often collective, not individual. So shared meals, shared stories, shared accountability, shared hope. The focus is on continuity, not starting over. So I think about this, and I think that we are doing exactly some of these things as we embark on this new cycle of VocalEye. We are sharing stories, we're sharing space together as community, and so I honor the space that we are in on these lands that I am a settler and a visitor on. So welcoming you all to this Wednesday, January the 14th, 2026, the first almost live of this new cycle. And we are proud to offer you our almost live event number 203. This is our PuSh Festival preview as we embark on PuSh Festival season with Andrea Cownden, who is the accessibility coordinator at the PuSh Festival and my friend and does a lot of other things. So why don't we just welcome Andrea into the space, because I know she's standing by. Hello, friend. Where are you?
Here I am. Hi, Amy. Hi, everyone. So happy to be here. I'm Andrea, and like Amy said, I'm the Accessible PuSh coordinator, and I also do some description work myself. So I've been in this space wearing my describer's hat, and I'm here today wearing my PuSh hat for the third year.
Now you need a hat that you can like have on the front and then turn around backwards, and it's got a different logo on each side.
Yeah, don't mention the other work I do. I'm also a professional dancer and I work for All Bodies Dance. Um, I'm a non-disabled dance artist in my other fields, but it all does relate to each other.
It does. It connects to everything. So third year here in the space, I can't even believe it. It's flown by really fast. How do
Yes.
you feel after 3 years?
Oh, I still feel like I'm learning so much every year. You think you have it figured out, and the thing with the PuSh Festival is that it the mandate of the festival is to bring new, exciting, energizing work to Vancouver in the dead of winter. And so there's a couple things about that I want to highlight. One is as a patron of the arts, I'm looking forward to seeing shows. I'm looking forward to being energized by art and new experience and things I haven't seen or heard or felt before. And as an arts worker, it's a tough season to be pushing in. So PuSh is a push for the workers, and we hope it's a treat for the audiences. And I'm gonna wear my audience hat at least a couple of nights during the festival. It starts in just over a week.
Just over a week. So it's crunch time.
Mhm. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to mention about what makes PuSh exciting in this third year thing is that yeah, every year I think I have it figured out, but it's always just a totally new lineup of artists. And PuSH's mandate is to invite multidisciplinary work, artists who don't fit neatly into boxes and don't do things in ways that we expect or anticipate. And so that makes my role of clearly communicating expectations to help people make feel comfortable that their access needs will be met. It does make that challenging because every year it's different. But the flip side is that the artists who come to us, a couple of whom we'll be highlighting tonight, given that they're kind of cutting edge people, they come to us more and more with their own ideas about how their work can be made accessible. And so that's something that's really exciting as I get to keep doing this work is to see more and more artists already thinking about access and being truly excited to welcome people with disabilities and deaf people and other diverse audience members to see their shows.
So give us some highlights other than who that you're focusing on that's accessible for folks who are blind and low vision. But when you talk about cutting edge artists and those kinds of experiences that we may have not been introduced to as an audience, not only as a blind and low vision audience, but as an audience in general, what types of art are you talking about? Because, some people are just like, oh, okay, it's a typical stage show, or like what is so unique and unusual about some of these pieces that would be a new experience for folks?
Um, where to start? I think it's the way the stories are being told. Um, I'm thinking of a show that has like a couple of shows that have like singers. There's a baritone opera singer singing in Askewan, and I can't remember in an indigenous language, and at the same time as the central artist Tyson is using like a projector to make live projected video worlds on the stage and really thinking about how to make immersive worlds. Um, we've got, yeah, singing and story coming together this year. People, oh, I don't know, dancing at the same time. We have, yeah, multidisciplinary, I think. And then the stories when we're using these different disciplines together, the stories kind of come out in a nonlinear fashion, and sometimes in
Mm,
ways that leave us going like, huh? Yeah,
right.
projections, kind of coming at the topic from many different angles. That's what I'm thinking. I'm also distracted by because the other thing is this is a festival, so all of these shows are coming to us. Well, there's a couple local shows, but a lot of these shows are coming to us, and we've seen archival videos of works in progress. But even the curator hasn't always seen all these shows live, and so there's some shows that we don't totally know what's going to happen yet.
Yeah.
And, and so it's part of what make me think of is like previous years shows where like a wrestler came out with a live snake in the middle of the show, and no one was expecting that.
Yes. Yes. which also makes things difficult when you're talking about access, which is like, but I don't know how the show is going to turn out because I don't know. I haven't seen
Yeah,
it. So
exactly.
it's really hard to
Sometimes,
figure that out. Yeah.
yeah, sometimes saying that I don't know is what I can say. I have to tell you what I don't know and with the limits of what I guarantee. And
Yeah.
it's live art. It's live art. So at some point, no matter even the intentions of the artist, we don't control what's going to happen. And on some level, everyone has to surrender to that process just a little bit and know that you can always leave and ask for your money back if you need to. Because it's live art.
That is
Exciting
true.
stuff.
Yeah, that is true. I remember this wasn't with PuSh, but just as an example of something that was out of the box and wasn't something that was expected as an audience member was a show that was about mechanical objects. Um, and a lot of the objects were just like household appliances that made noise. And you were in a room for like an hour watching people interact with household appliances that made noise, like a coffee machine and a popcorn maker and a stand mixer. And then, two people would come out with electric toothbrushes and like it was just, and you're like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Right. And it was just, so you got out of it what you got out of it. Um, but that was, so as an audience member, you got out of it what you got out of it, but it's not like a show that you buy a ticket to and you expect there to be a storyline and a linear thing because there's no dialogue, right?
Yeah.
So, and
So really
I,
grooving on those sounds and vibrations.
yeah. And I think the artist's intention was something about how integrated we are with the daily things in our lives that make our lives easier and how easy it is to forget about the privilege of having these things and all sorts of things like that. Um, but
Mhm.
you really have to be thinking deeply about that when you're in a space like this to be like, oh, yeah, I use an electric toothbrush every day.
Mhm.
Anyways, they were doing some really interesting things in this space, and it wasn't for everybody. We'll just say
Totally.
that. But that
And
is the thing you do is you let yourself go as an audience member to experience something that may not be your cup of tea, but you've experienced something different.
yeah, sometimes the best stories are shows that I didn't love, but
Yeah.
they stick with you because you're like, I didn't know that was even possible. I didn't know you could do that and get programmed in a festival and have a bunch of people like tour around the world with these shows. And you're like, okay,
Yeah.
that's what's going on. That's what some people are finding interest in this. And I'm as an artist, I'm always just curious what other people are curious about and
Yeah.
what they're working on, even if it's not the same curiosities that I'm working on actively. It's just
Yeah.
my desire is always just kind of sniff out and see if I can get a sense of what's going on out there, what people are up to.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to bring us tonight with the PuSh Festival? Because I know that you're going to share some things that we are going to take some people in Vancouver to experience. Um, so, where are we starting?
Okay, well, we've got four shows to share with you today in the almost live space. This is part of the festival after all, so we're here to enjoy some bits and
Yes.
pieces of artwork. Um, so the first two shows that I'm going to share are audio dominant shows that aren't described. One's theater that uses music and storytelling as its primary. It's a story, so you can follow it, and has a live string quartet. And the next one is a concert. So those ones won't be with VocalEye, but I wanted to bring them forward as shows that might be of interest to blind or low vision community members. And then the next two are going to be described shows that VocalEye will partner with us on to bring you to, hopefully. So we'll start with Kiuryac, which is the show I was mentioning that has the live string quartet. It's a really special show. They've been working on it for years. And what makes it so special is that it's a circumpolar collaboration. So there's artists from the north in Canada, in Greenland, and in Norway. So they've been coming together to talk about their shared experiences and myths around the Northern Lights. And really diving into what feels common and rich in their relationship with this very special thing that they're quite intimate with, and for us down south, is, for me, lives only in my imagination. And once maybe I think I saw it, I was squinting really hard at it.
So, Andrea, just before you move forward, for folks who have no idea what the Northern Lights is, not just what it looks like, but what it is, how would
Okay.
you describe that?
I'm no scientist, but I think it's a solar flare that like hits the atmosphere of the Earth, and something chemical happens that produces light or makes the light visible, and then it shimmers in kind of blobby, nebulous forms. Again, the version I saw was kind of just like seeing a weird cloud that moved and was kind of glowy. But images I've seen, which maybe were fake, are little have like lines of color and kind of look like ribbons of light. And they're huge. They dance, unlike a firework, they really can fill up large swaths of the sky. And I don't know what happens when you get up north. I think people describe them as dancing light, and it's a scientific phenomenon.
Yeah.
So I know the music in this show, the string quartet, which is on the stage, kind of tucked into a corner so they can really be connected to the actors' movements, worked to try to use sound to evoke that dancing, shimmering quality of the light in this one. How I've prepared this year is similar to like past years. Is Gabriel Martin, our artistic director, interviewed all of the artists coming to the festival. And so I have sound, I don't have the artists themselves here in person to join us in the Almost Live, but I do have their voices as they generously lent them in our interview with Gabriel. So I'll be sharing those if you'd like. Amy's smiling and nodding.
I certainly want to know more about this this Northern Lights and how people are making art with Northern Lights. I think it's a fantastic experience, and I hope one day I get to experience it. I hope that I get to experience it, because I think like if I were to feel it, like forget about what it looks like, but if you were to feel it, I would imagine that it would be like standing in a snowy place, like a really cold, snowy place, when the snow is sharp and like the wind whips around you, and that feeling of that sharp wind, because it's kind of like the wind would be like the light and it whips around in the sky. But if when you feel it against your skin, it's kind of like the light moves like that in the sky. That's what I think it would feel like if you had to turn it into something that you feel in your body. But I hope I get, it's like literally like a bucket list thing for me to be able to be close enough to experience it somehow. Anyways, so I'm excited to hear.
I love that description. I'm going to let the artists speak. So like I mentioned, it's a collaborative process. The main voice we're going to hear in this clip is Rodna Karita Eira, who is a Sami Norwegian writer and playwright. And she writes in both Norwegian and Northern Sami. The show will be in English. They work with translators, and she speaks in English in this clip. And then we'll hear an interjection from Dr. Renalta Arluk, who's in Inuviluq, Denezulin, Wichin Cree from the Northwest Territories, and she's one of Canada's leading Indigenous directors and playwrights. She's also a writer on this show. And there's a third collaborator we won't hear from, but I just want to name Alon Nashman, who's a non-Indigenous collaborator and theater maker. Who's from Canada. I picked this clip to share because I wanted to highlight the specialness of their collaborative process. And so that's what they'll be speaking about here. Oh, and as we share it, I'm going to ask Rick before we bring in the podcast to bring in the picture. So we'll have the key art from the show for Kiuryac and just an image description for you. This is two figures who are silhouetted on a ridge against the bright background of the Northern Lights, which fill the sky with glowing greens, pinks, and yellows. With that, we can hear from Rodna.
I think it's really important that we find a way to share our stories and our cosmology. It strengthens us as Northerners to find that we have similar stories. Of course, we have difficulties or different ways of telling or living, but there is so much in common. And by working together, these stories, many of them have not been shared. I didn't know much about the Canadian stories or from the Canadian side, or so I'm learning so much during this process. It has been quite a few years since we started, and I have learned so much. And I find that we have we have similar ways of thinking. That is it's different from the way of thinking that we always are presented with. And it's so important that we get to tell our own stories and share them. And it's important for us as Indigenous people, but it's also important for everyone living together to understand and to get one step further. So I think this has been a really important process in my life, really getting to learn all these people, visit these places and be a part of this production.
Yeah, I'm a little emotional about that, Rautna.
No, but it's true. It is.
Yeah, it's such a gift to be able to share space with Rautna and just hear her wisdom.
Just love the warmth with which they talk to each other, and reminds me to not take these processes for granted. I wanted to, they speak of the story, and we're going to share a clip from the show next. And for context, the story and the commonalities, if you listen, you're all welcome to listen to the whole interview. They're on the PuSh Play podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts. And in the interview, they talk about how a common experience in the North is children being adopted out, like Indigenous children being adopted away from their families and not growing up in the North. And that was something they learned was a commonality, a very sad commonality that they had. And so the story revolves around a pair of siblings, one of whom grows up in her culture in the North and the other one grows up in the city. And so the clip I'm going to share with you is when we first meet the child who's grown now, young man, in the city, and getting a sense of him. And I they didn't make this show with access in mind, but I was kind of touched when I got to my eyes on the archival that they kind of build in their storytelling style, builds in a little bit of self-description. So the set is actually quite minimal, but he describes things in his environment that aren't there. What is there is a little kind of small hut house thing with blank walls, and they make use of projections to sort of help build the world. So it turns into a Tim Hortons and a city bus at different points that are pretty obvious in the clip. And behind the projections, again, are used to kind of make a cityscape behind him. The clip opens with him wearing his headphones, and so the first audio we hear is like the radio through his headphones, and then we'll hear his voice, and he's kind of Indigenous man, looks like he's in his maybe late 20s.
And the first audio, Andrea, is meant to kind of be really quiet, so you don't have to adjust your volume too much if you're like, I can't hear it. It's meant to be like the sound he's hearing inside his headphones, so we don't really hear it. Very cool.
But if you do have eagle ears, it is kind of cool. He's listening to a nerdy podcast or something about the Northern Lights.
Ah, interesting.
So, like some sciencey stuff that I listened to a couple times and picked it up. So there's a kind of fun nugget. So I think that's good. And we can play it now.
Waves, a type of electromagnetic wave that exists in plasmas. Alvin waves are really common above auroras. And here's how polar data was used to answer that question.
Slight residue of slick invisible ice. Pockets of white snow at the edges of the sidewalk. as I tread carefully toward the coffee shop heading to work. Oh, the sensation of walking with extra care in the cold, giving myself the challenge of finding balance is what I like, whilst listening to the science of the Northern Lights. My routine stop at Tim Hortons just as it opens at 6 a.m., avoiding the lineup.
Double with cream.
Okay. The buses come just as frequently as they do at 8 a.m., but without the crush of people waiting. No desperation or strong smells of perfume, hair gel, or coffee breath. I get to the office early as to bypass the endless hellos and how's-its, the unprompted tales of the nights at the bar, the latest episodes of some reality show, or children. Oh, yes. Vanilla latte for Rowan, please. I have quiet, blessed quiet. Able to concentrate on balancing the books, finding the miscalculations of others' miscalculations, identify those areas of growth and deficits. So many hidden deficits. Someone has to bring them to the attention of the upper floors, and that is my job. This is my routine, and it suits me just fine.
Vanilla latte for Rowan.
Thank you. 28, and life is a rebate. The savings I have are more than I currently need. I have thought about what I might do with some of the excess funds, and well, what comes to mind is Alvin waves in the polar dark. My adopted parents taught me the virtue of being grounded. I know I was adopted at a young age. I mean, I don't look anything like they do, or they me, for that matter. They told me I'm Inuk. I'm a singular Inuit in a sea of London. Ontario, to be clear. They told me I was born in Yellowknife, in the Northwest Territories, a part of Canada very few Canadians have seen, way up there, where there are more than one Inuks. Inuits, where it's 50 below with a dry cold. Like I would ever know that though. Hey Siri, what is the current temperature in Yellowknife?
The current temperature in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories is -25 degrees Celsius.
Oh my God. Oh, the photo of the spectacular Aurora Borealis is my screensaver. Oh, I long to get there someday. To get away from these claustrophobic buildings and predictable people. To arrive into serene isolation and embrace fresher air. The lights beckon me. They do. But I haven't yet found the impetus to break out of my daily routine or give up my affordable London, Ontario basement apartment, I mean.
Waves are present in such a distinct part of our atmosphere that our ability to predict them is uneven.
I think something's gonna happen.
I want to know when he meets his sibling.
Yeah, and he meets the Northern Lights.
in the Northern
Yeah.
Lights.
It's a pretty sweet and endearing story. So, very charming cast and piece, and it's at the Chan Center, so you have to go all the way out to UBC for it, and it's one night only. But please come if you'd like, January 28th. Yeah. Next show?
Yeah, where are we going next?
Okay. Well, we're coming to Chinatown. Literally, this is our first time presenting a show at the Chinese Canadian Museum. Another one night only show. This is on February 4th. And it's Rainbow Chan live at the Dream Factory. Rainbow Chan is, I'm going to read her bio. This is just one person, so I can read it. Rainbow Chan is an award-winning vocalist, producer, and multidisciplinary artist. Her practice bridges popular music and contemporary visual arts, exploring themes of cultural representation, mistranslation, matrilineal histories, and diasporic heritage. Central to her work is the research and reimagining of women's oral traditions, particularly the fading bridal laments of Weitao women, Hong Kong's first settlers, to whom she has deep ancestral ties. And so what she's bringing to us is a concert, most canto pop inspired concert that does, weaves in these traditional sounds. Again, I listened to her whole interview. I'm not going to play it all for you, but sometimes even when it sounds like pure contemporary electronic music, she's sampling, like hidden in the music are samples from the land and from the culture, which is beautiful detail that she pulls out. But in the clip that I have to share with you, she's going to speak more. I have it in two parts because I love the way she speaks about these bridal laments and how she came into relationship with them and how she's thinking about them in her art practice. And if we want to just dive right in, if Rick shares the image, I can just do a quick image ID.
Right.
This is from I think one of her music videos. So the show won't look like this, but I will tell you the image because that's what's on all the materials that promote the show. So this is Rainbow Chan, a young Chinese woman, sitting in profile in the center of a surreal installation. Layers of human-sized wavy rings that get smaller as they recede into the distance, creating a portal of hazy blues and greens. Dressed in a flesh-toned leotard and melon orange high heels, Rainbow sits in one of these wavy rings, fitting her spine against the curved bottom and stretching her bare leg upward along the curved edge. Her energy appears calm in the center of this constructed vortex. And so we can listen to Rainbow now in her own words, talking about her relationship to her practice.
For me, these bridal laments also connect me so physically and spiritually to the past and the future in a way. These songs are on the brink of disappearance, and my mum as a kid would hear them all the time. You know, the women in my grandmother's generation, that's how they learnt, you know, their craft. That's their way of sharing knowledge. They didn't go to school. They passed on information in these women-only houses where they would learn to sing and cook and embroider and other, you know, women's labor, you could say. But by the time my mum's generation came around, they started going to school. Hong Kong urbanized really quickly in the 60s, and a lot of these practices were seen as, you know, lower class or kind of backwards. And so they were very stigmatized. And with these external pressures, like the generation of my mum really internalized that stigma and didn't pass on this knowledge to the younger generations. And so for me to reclaim these songs and to connect with the elders who are still alive, you know, in their 90s and their 80s, who still hold on to this knowledge, is a way to, in a way, time travel. And when I sing these songs, it does feel like my voice is not, it's not just my voice, but my voice is almost like boundless, and it's like traveling across time and place, and resonating with all the women who have sung these songs before me. So yeah, I think the voice is a powerful thing that transcends geographies, locations, and it really connects us to the past, present, and future.
Yes, it is so powerful.
Rick's just going to skip it ahead a little tiny bit because she has a snippet where she talks about what the songs are about. And let's play that.
I didn't even realize these songs existed. And then it was like, okay, not only do we have songs for every day where we're thinking about farming and work and thinking through the seasons and how to, you know, when to plant what things, when to harvest what things, but then there's this other, you know, category of women's songs which are for rituals, for funerals, for weddings. And why are they crying at weddings? Oh, it's because these marriages were arranged and women actually saw marriage as a kind of death. And these songs are actually full of rage and defiance and protest against the patriarchy, where my own vision of women, Chinese women specifically in the past, are very, subservient, docile, kind of Confucian women. Oh no, there's this whole other aspect to women's words and their experiences that are so little known about. And so that really compelled me to learn this material and then to not only platform these historical voices and the women who still, are seeing them and are my teachers and my collaborators, but also to think through what these themes of defiance and sisterhood and kinship could mean in our contemporary world when we're so divided, and how could these songs offer a different perspective also to Hong Kong and its, its place in the region and its changes in the last couple of years.
Thanks for sharing that.
It's really interesting to me because it may be obvious to me because I am a Caucasian person, or obvious to others, that I don't have any understanding of what arranged marriage would entail, what would be like, because it's not part of my culture. But I know people who have experienced it and been through it. And it's also interesting that I have heard stories from both sides of the experience, people who have hated it, people who in modern, like in today's sort of modern day, push back against it. And then you hear some of these love stories of people from, 50 years ago who had arranged marriages and like fell in love with each other. And it's so there's such a polarization around this concept. So I'm so interested to hear more about what Rainbow Chan is saying, and how her art practice works. So super curious.
Well, it'll shock you. We're gonna listen to
Okay, I'm up for it.
It's funny. I don't know her whole work. I don't know, like I say a million times, I don't know exactly what she's going to present at this concert and her range. But what I'm going to show you now is a pop song with a music video. And in the music video, she's surrounded by other women, some young and some elders. And over the course of the video, she goes from wearing a simple skin tone top to extravagant, what looks to me like wedding attire. And I kind of understand it as she's being moved through this process. There's no groom or any presence of men actually at all in the video. It's all women who surround her. And something that stood out to me is that in the end, towards the end, when she's all dressed up and her face is revealed, she has these pearly tears as part of her makeup on her face. And the song will end, and then there'll be a bonus, little bit of music at the end, which is a clip of her in her kind of music video costume with the elders that were featured in the video singing together. So it'll end, but it's not over, and we'll get to hear their singing together.
I can't wait.
You locked my life away inside the cedar chest, telling me from the start that good girls don't protest. Keep me in fear and watching out for every word that I say. My want for freedom is high as the sky. Stay at the bottom, I will never satisfy. Over the clouds, I know I must fly far away. Hold me now, dear boy. Hold me till the end. Hold me now. 結腎，梳滑頭繼續點文燈，點起文燈添蠟燭，添起蠟燭就掛台裙，掛起台裙就啷啷聲，咁齊姊妹就來拜地啦。
I wish I knew what they were singing about at the end there in Community, but it sounds happy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really happy. Brings a smile to my face. And she said that's her mother's language, Meitao or Weitao, and she kind of was telling her, I'm like, I want to learn some Weitao. Like she didn't grow up with it, and she realized the language was dying, so she wanted to learn it. And it was her mother who's like, well, you're a singer, you should learn the songs.
Yeah.
Like so part of her learning this music was kind of came organically through this desire to practice language preservation with her mother. And so anyways, I remembered that when I was watching her sing with the elders.
So, I mean, it could be a nursery rhyme. You know, it's like, what are the songs, what are the songs that you, when you're starting to learn language, that are your go-to songs? And usually they're like childhood storytelling songs, you know?
Maybe they're hardcore laments about getting married. Maybe those are the basics.
Could be, totally could be. Yeah, that was super interesting to listen to those lyrics and to feel how she feels about that process. And yeah, I'm so curious as to what she's going to bring to the festival.
Yeah, me too. It's like she's powerful, and and I think she's really unapologetically contemporary and working really diligently to understand her connections to her culture, and that's beautiful. And I think I'm gonna bring us to the next artist on that note, because that's a through line I noticed with Laura Kramer, who's bringing "Remember That Time We Met in the Future" to the festival this year, working really diligently to reconnect, and understand her culture. And at the same time, she's a cutting edge contemporary artist. I'm going to read her bio too. Laura Kramer is a performer, choreographer, and multidisciplinary artist of mixed OG Cree and settler heritage, raised in London, Ontario. She lives and works in Jojage, colonially known as Montreal. Her choreographic work, research, and field work over the last 15 years has been grounded in intergenerational relations, intergenerational knowledge, and the impacts of Indian residential schools of Canada. She is the first generation in her family to not attend the residential schools. Kramer's relationship to experiential practice and the creative process of performance, sonic development, and visual design is anchored in the embodiment of experiences such as dreams, memories, knowledge, and reclamation. Her creations in the form of dance, performance, and installation have been presented across Canada and Australia, New Zealand, Martinique, Norway, the US, and the UK. So she's a big ambassador for Canada as a dance artist. And as a dancer, I'm familiar with her work. Mm-hmm. And she and her team are one of the ones I was mentioning that came to us with a passion, a real vision for trying to conceive of how this work could be described, and embarking on what we all know is the daunting process of dance description, to bring us this work with description. So they are working with a describer from Montreal, the same place where Laura's from, Alida Esmail, to develop a script. And then they're actually coming in the next week to finalize the work with a residency here in Vancouver. And then me, describer Andrea, will visit the work, practice Alida's script, and I'll be the one delivering, like voicing the description. On January 29th, we'll tell you again, January 29th at SFU Gold Court in the Woodwards building downtown. So we're very excited about this work. It's unlike, well, yeah, she's really a unique contemporary artist. It's unlike anything I've seen before. What I saw of her in the past, and this is a new work, so I haven't seen it.
All right. So what are we gonna share?
Yes, I've got Laura speaking to us about her inspiration for the work. Like she said, intergenerational knowledge is a big part of what she does, a connection with Rainbow Chan. And her mother is a knowledge keeper for this process and is credited as a knowledge keeper, I think, in the credits for the whole show. And so Laura's going to talk about Mino Ode, which I believe means heart space or heart pulse, and how that informs her work. And like before, it's going to be in two little pieces, so Rick will skip it forward in the middle. But first, we'll see the image that promotes the show. So this is not Laura in the image. Laura won't perform. The work is performed by 4 Indigenous dance artists from different nations. And this is a performer with dark curly hair who wears a leather jacket backwards and a single yellow glove. Their lower half is blocked by the strange things that they carry, seemingly chosen as much for their colors and textures, more than for their actual purpose. A blue water jug, a bunch of curly gold ribbon, a pink cord, and a crate full of folded clear plastic. The mood is heavy and mysterious. And now we'll hear Laura speaking about her inspiration and values in the work.
My first question is talking about Remember That Time We Met in the Future. So you've described it as both an expansion of your embodied practice and a transmission of Mino Ode, or good heart. And can you speak about Mino Ode, what that means in this context, how it moves through the work, through the bodies, the sound, and the landscapes you're creating?
Yeah, so Mino Ode was a sort of a first seed of an idea, maybe a way of being and connecting. It was bridging sort of I say a multitude of artists, but really at the core collaborators and performers. I was in a period of time where I was, I've been doing quite a bit of solo practice, and I wanted to bring together some Indigenous artists and really share with them a little bit of, I want to say, like the methodology, the approach of my practice. And just through conversations with my mother, Ida Baptiste, who's also a language carrier, knowledge keeper. Remember, the Mino Ode came up because I was telling her I want to work with the heart space, the heart pulse, and as a real seed of an idea of I guess I want to say it's like an invitation to this interior listening within our own bodies, our own vessels, but as well as how does that also reach outwards and expand outwards with all that we're interrelated with. So, the heart, that heart space of Mother Earth, or the intricacies of it in land and different territories. And so really, I think of it as, an expanded, quite expansive, I want to say, I don't know. It's not just value, but it's a way of connecting, a way of being. It encompasses, like cultural world views. But yeah, Mino Ode is really for me this seed of c'est comme we say, like a point of départ. Like it's a taking off point of. That has, I think, quite a big rippling effect.
Having seen and experienced your work, it makes sense that like fully embodied mind, body, spirit grounding and connection and clarity of like the space you're inhabiting. Yeah, on all those levels, that would be so critical. And then, how are you going to communicate? It's been really interesting to see the transmission recently with Jeanette Kotowicz in your work. Such an incredible interpretation, or I would say interpretation is probably the wrong word, like existing within the world. And I'm so, just the little bit I've seen from the work in progress of this work, it's very clear that everybody is connected in the same state, and that state is really critical to the work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you. I think we can leave it there. That was Gabrielle's voice bookending. I work with her very closely. She's the curator and artistic director at PuSh. And what I like about, what excites me about the way Laura speaks about the work, and again, I recommend listening to the whole podcast because it really kind of builds the context for how she's thinking about dance, because it's not typical 5, 6, 7, 8 leg kick, arm sweep. It's really about dance, understanding dance as using bodies to change time and space. Like, what can a body do? And so what excites me about listening to her speak in that way is that maybe as an audience, being there live, something about that deep embodiment of what the performers are tuning into and how they're feeling their own heart and presence and connection to land and materials, which are a big part of the work. Like, it might be more of a feeling, like it might bring me as, well, I'll be working hard describing for you, but it might bring us as audience into a different state in our bodies. I think that's her hope, that not just the performers get there, but that we're feeling ourselves and time and presence differently. And she'll listen to the whole interview. It's awesome because she'll talk all about that stuff and really makes me want to slow down and live life in a beautiful way.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited about this one because I don't think that this is going to be like any other type of dance that I've ever witnessed. Like you said, it's there's integration of other things other than bodies into this piece. And so and these are, I mean, how you've described these objects seem to me, and when I think about the title of the piece, seem to me to be something that are like discarded objects that have impeded environmental, that have had some detriment to the environment. That's and so I feel like there's going to be some kind of bigger impact on me with some of these integrated objects.
And she talks about like everything, even if it's not like a beautiful, a smooth stone on a beach or whatever, like all objects are of the earth, even if they've been highly processed. So all the objects have their own life and connection to land, even it's so I think it invites us to kind of rethink where and how we can connect to land, and what we see as valuable, and what it looks and feels like to tune in and to connect. And it doesn't have to necessarily be someone sitting cross-legged meditating against a sunset with all serene and perfect, and there's a dolphin, and like that life and land are all around us, and how do we relate now? So really, I'm really quite interested, and it'll be a total experience. We don't have, they're coming to do a technical rehearsal. It's not finished. The description's in process. She's never made accessible work before, so we don't have a described clip, or the work doesn't have language in it. It will with the description, but we don't have anything like that to share with you. But what we do have is a trailer of the work, which will have the sound and the visuals, of course. And what I've done is just, because the timing, as many of you know, the trailers are quite quick. So what I've done is I've described it, and I'm going to read the description now ahead of time, and then the trailer is just a minute long, and so you can hold the description. What stands out for you from your memory of the description in your mind as we listen to and watch the trailer together? So I have a cold, so my describer voice is going to be even better in a couple weeks. But this is the trailer. This is the description of the trailer. The trailer opens with shots of dancers in a stillness so complete that at first the mind thinks they are photographs. The dancers are embedded in a world of objects, mounds of crumpled plastic, cascades of golden tinsel, styrofoam cubes, and delicate mesh screens. Objects of trash now gleaming like treasure. The textures of the props meld with the dancers' bodies. Each in their own look, they wear things like biker boots, jumpsuits, and oversized gloves. Nothing is familiar or usual. Senses sharpen in an attempt to make sense of these scenes, to feel the heartbeat. Sweat drips off the tip of a frozen dancer's nose. Quick cuts show messes of movement like flashbacks to a dream. Entangled with the objects, the dancers shake in a way that seems to make the whole world shake with them. A glimpse of a bare back, the shoulder blades pulsing under soft skin. 3 dancers come together, feeding off each other's energy. Their presence is sharp. Their movements are raw and thrashing. Hair obscures their faces, so it is their bodies that communicate the extent of their desire for something just beyond their grasp. Lights throb between light and darkness. The video shakes and cuts to black. Now I'll have the video.
Well, that description was excellent, Andrea.
Thanks. Thank you. I had fun with it, as always. I think it's going to be really exciting work, and they would love, they will want so much for anyone who's even the least bit interested to come. PuSh is able to offer complimentary tickets for this show, so if you're even the least bit curious, want to experience something new and different, we'd love to have you and hear your feedback and dive into this world together. I think it's going to be...
I will be there. If anybody wants to come with me, I will be there.
It'll be true PuSh festival. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about the unexpected and the new. So please join us. And we have one more show that also comes from an artist who is so on it with Access that they have their own touring audio description that we're going to be able to present to you. How does this work? Live audio description, live show, recorded audio description. It's a drag show. So this is TESTO by Wet Mess from the UK. And so because it's a drag show, one of the key elements to the art form of drag is lip syncing. And so in this show, Wet Mess will lip sync to interviews and news clips, kind of giving us insight into the world of testosterone and queerness and their gender. And so because it's lip syncing and music and drag style, it all unfolds the same way, kind of to the same one long soundtrack every night. And so we can slide into your earpieces a matching audio description. And I'm so excited to be able to tour audio description, to have a audio describer from the UK visit us kind of remote, via technology, so we can hear how they're approaching it over there. So I'm really thrilled to bring this piece to the festival and present it to you.
It'll be the first for VocalEye for us at VocalEye here in Vancouver to experience pre-recorded description through our headsets because it's always been live.
This is what I don't want to make a presumption, but this is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, we're founded on live description, so to receive something from the UK, so we'll have a British voice in our ears, yes. Which is also cool. And I've been curious about drag for a long time because I've been to a couple of drag shows, and because it's lip syncing, I would say to a couple of artists, just kind of tongue in cheek because I knew them, that it's like putting a CD on for me, right? Because I'm hearing the CD track of the song. I'm not hearing somebody singing live. It's the same thing that you would hear the actual recording artist sing, and the performer is lip syncing to that song. So I could be at home listening to my CD because I'm not really seeing what's happening on the stage, right? So how do we describe this? And so this is really intriguing to me from a show level, but also just from a technology level.
Yeah. Well, it's also different. It's based in drag, but this is a theater artist, so they're bringing in all sorts of different traditions and media, and it's a full-length show. But yeah, I'm excited too to see how they're approaching this. And one thing I wanted to go back to Laura's show. Remember that time? It was so object centered, and I just wanted to let people know that there will be touch to her. It's all working out, and so just stay tuned with VocalEye for details. But objects are there, and we also get to touch them. So okay, back to Wet. I wanted to read Wet's bio. It's trigger warning on this show. It has coarse language, adult themes. Transphobia is a theme in this show. And there's going to be some nudity, not in tonight's stuff, but this is a warning for the show. And in the bio I'm about to read, you'll get a kind of sense. Wet mess is a wet mess, horny for your confusion. Let it all out and guess again at the insecure, balding, white man / pussy prince / alien baby. Have a lollygag, think about your fantasy flesh suits, call me sweet prince, and remember Roger in a robe. Choose to make some silly campy decisions with all the hairy thems and dykey men. All I really want to do is strip for the stripper and drive her home with the dogs. So Wet is approaching this differently.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's their official bio on the PuSh website, just the same as everyone else's. But that's what theirs says, and I love that. And I want to I bet you that has you wanting to hear more from Wet. So I think we should bring in the podcast clip. And before we do, we'll throw up the image. This is the fun fact about this picture is it's the poster for the whole PuSh festival. So this is what's plastered on the buses, we don't have billboards, like signposts, it's around town. So Wet Mess and this show is our poster thing. So here we go. The image description is Wet Mess, a trans-masculine drag artist, stands on a dark stage holding an LED sign where the word now glows red. Their bald head is turned in profile with a checkerboard smile painted across their face. They wear a billowing white coat made of luxuriously gauzy material, which hangs open, exposing a flat, muscular chest. And now we can hear them in their own words.
The show kind of started as a deep desire to have these conversations that I needed to have around taking testosterone. And so I really just sat down with friends, and then as it grew, people started recommending to me. So it's friends of friends who had experiences taking testosterone, some of them in their 60s identifying as trans men, some of them my age or younger that had been on and off testosterone for different reasons. And so it was a real spectrum of learning and experiences. And I think I was so hungry for this kind of underground knowledge and DIY hormone taking, essentially, because a lot of it can be very hard to access hormones on the NHS here. And the stuff I was finding online, or at least in the media, is very binary, and it's very often based in trauma or a very simple A to B story. And from my own experience and talking to people, I started to like kind of lift the veil on the complexities and messiness of transness and non-binary identity, and kind of feeling more held in other people sharing their experiences of that. Yeah, and I think the show is really a celebration of like drag as a tool to discover oneself. Like very much for me, it was like a journey into being able to explore and discover my own gender on stage. And I think like there's not many other ways to do that in like a celebratory safe space. And so I'm really interested in the queer history of the stage as a place of becoming, and how the kind of confusing parts of that, like Wet Mess was a drag name and now I use wet in every day, and how we like the edges of the stage, because sometimes that is the freest place to be. Like you can do things on the stage that would be quite dangerous to do in real life, and have these fantasies and people see you in a way that you don't get necessarily. So I think, yeah, the blurry lines between like reality, fantasy, storyline, what is real and unreal, where is the line of myself and a character, it feels very like central to this.
I love that blurry line stuff.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting.
Being the character and using the character to discover and play with who you are, and how that feeds back into who you are off stage, and then what's real? Are you more real out there?
Mm-hmm.
Or when you're by yourself? Yeah, I love that.
So when is the described version of TESTO happening?
TESTO is February 7th, 8
February
p.m.
7th.
at Performance Works on Granville Island.
All right.
And if we'd like, we do have, this will be our last thing of the evening, we do have a preview of the described show, a taste of the opening theme to share with you. So we get to hear our beautiful describer's voice all the way from England.
We begin in darkness. Floating LED text appears, intermittently washing the room in red lighting as the words scroll upwards. Slowly we will begin to see the outline of Wet Mess holding the sign as the darkness fades and a green wash of lighting ever so slowly creeps in behind the red flashes. They walk down the runway so slowly you're not sure they are actually moving. As the text slowly scrolls, they will eventually raise the sign above their head and slowly rest it against their head and shoulder, their silhouette holding and moving between poses that have an ancient and statuesque feeling about them. The words read, "I want to tell you about a dream. Can I tell you about a dream? I want to tell you about a dream. You were in a room with a rotating fan in the corner. It sounded like an old person breathing. It was comforting. You don't know the old person, but they tell you they are good with their eyes. In front there is a table with bread and butter on it. You are hungry. You take the knife and begin to butter the bread hands. Yours, you imagine your mother doing it. Then, instead of eating, you begin to rub the butter all over your body. The greasiness is enjoyable. In the mirror, in front of you, see a room full of people doing exactly the same thing. You feel normal. You approach the person nearest you and you begin rub your butter on theirs. Hands and palms and tongues and bums and hair and teeth and clits and dicks and feet and tongues and toes, and you look around and the room is now a bath. The butter, thick and yellow. You start swimming breaststroke to the horizon. The bread is now fish and they are humming. The butter envelops you and now you are falling. It is dark. You are falling. The bread, fish start laughing. You are falling. You are laughing too. Falling. Falling in love. Falling over. Your skin is stretchy. Falling like pizza dough. Falling. You expand. Falling. You shrink. Falling. The bread, fish, falling, are singing, loud now, falling. You are still laughing, falling. On the ground with the sign above their head, their legs very slowly cycle like they are falling backwards to replace.
I have a question.
Okay.
And I don't know that you know the answer to this, so it may not be a fair question. Because the description isn't written for Remember That Time We Met in the Future.
Mm-hmm.
And so my question is, do we know if any pre-show notes are going to be available with these descriptions? Because it's just occurring to me that I would not know how this person was dressed had you not told me.
Yeah, they've sent us pre-show notes.
Okay.
The TESTO. And for Remember That Time, yeah. I'll
Okay.
be there, so I'll make sure I set us up good.
Great. All right.
Yeah. We just dove in today for the immersive poetry of it all.
Great.
Like falling into a dream with wet.
Wonderful. All right. That sounds great. Awesome. I'm excited.
Me too. Me too.
So, yeah. What do people need to do if they want to come with VocalEye to these shows? Like, remind us of the dates. Remind us what they're gonna not experience, but like, what do they get when they come to the show? What are we doing? Do we know what we're doing?
We know what we're doing. So the two VocalEye shows are Remember That Time We Met in the Future, which is description voiced by Andrea, being written as we speak by Alita in Montreal. It's happening on January 29th at SFU Gold Corp at 7, Touch Tour at 6. They're still figuring out a room, but it seems like everyone at the venue and on the artistic team sounds good with it. So let's say it hasn't got that last stamp on it, but it's looking pretty good for a 6 p.m. Touch Tour. And so that's our first one, and that's happening in 2 weeks tomorrow. That's a Thursday evening. All right? I'm right. Yes. And then our second one is TESTO, which we just experienced by Wet Mess on February 7th. That's an 8 p.m. show at Performance Works. Yes, we'll have pre-show notes. But there won't be a touch tour, but there will be an invitation to touch, which will happen after the show. So as the show unfolds, things get messy. And so we've arranged with the artist team that it would be all right for anyone who is curious from the VocalEye crew to come and tour the set, to come onto the stage and be like, what was that? Or what was that made of? I want to touch it. You'd be welcome to. So no pre-show, but no touch tour before, but an opportunity to have a tactile experience after the show. And that's February 7th, 8 p.m. at Performance Works. And I believe it's VocalEye that will be arranging.
That's correct.
Arranging and coordinating with their wonderful team and theater buddies and everything. But if you do have any questions for me, you can always reach, well, not always, but I'm around at access@pushfestival.ca, and I'm pretty plugged in right these days. I also have a phone number that goes to the office but forwards to my cell phone. I don't always answer it right away, but if you leave a voicemail, I can get back to you. So here's my phone number if you're curious: 604-605-8284, and the extension to reach me is 204. You can also get dispatched by our friendly box office that do answer the phone pretty reliably, 604-449-6000. That's the PuSh box office staff. So if you need me or us, do find me. You can also get at me through VocalEye. They'll forward anything along. And those are our 2 described shows, the 29th and the 7th. Also, if you're interested in Rainbow Chan at the Dream Factory or Kiuryac out at UBC, do reach out to me and I'll hook you up with everything you need. So that's my plug.
That's your plug. Yeah. I would say if you want to come with the VocalEye crew, we'll probably arrange group tickets, Andrea, through you. So that way we know who's coming, and you can book your theater buddies and all that kind of good stuff. So it's not trying to book 1,000 things through 1,000 different people, but just, you know what? Read your newsletters, visit our website. That's the easiest thing that you can do, or get a hold of whoever you need to get a hold of. Y'all have done this a million times. You can find somebody who knows how to help you out. So never hesitate. Andrea, this has been a blast. Stick around because we are going to bring out Ava for our 50/50 draw. I'm so excited. Folks have been buying 50/50 tickets, and tonight's the night for the big 50/50 draw. So where's my friend Ava?
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
So we have a very, very exciting. We've have over 925 tickets have been purchased. And the grand prize, the pot that someone will be taking home today, will be $1,177.50. So thank you to everyone who has purchased tickets, who has shared on social media, who's told their family and friends. We are so grateful. And so bear with me because this is my first time doing this with this particular company. So I will need a little encouragement to make sure I'm doing this correctly. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Can you see the screen?
No. I mean, I'm sure it's there. I'm just playing the blind joke.
Yes.
Andrea, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Andrea,
Testifying.
All right. And here we go. We're being prepared for our virtual drawing barrel. So we have one prize to pull from. And here we go. The winning ticket number is 130140. And we will continue to find a name. And the lucky number, the lucky winner is Edwina Forsyth from Vancouver, BC.
Is that somebody that you know?
That is definitely someone I know. That is someone in my family.
They must have bought a lot of tickets, Ava. Congratulations, Edwina. Woohoo! That's a huge chunk of change. Wow. We will make sure that we reach out to Edwina and get them their lucky prize draw. And thanks everybody for participating. We hope to have another 50-50 sometime in the future, so we can get you all some more money. It's not about us. We just get you all some more money, right? Awesome. That's a great way to start off 2026. And so is the PuSh Festival. So Andrea, thank you for joining us with a little bit of PuSh preview stuff. And I hope our local VocalEye members get to come out and experience some new experiences. I guess that's just the best way you can put it for 2026. And that some of our out of town folks joining us online got to experience some interesting things through the live almost live Zoom room here at VocalEye. So thanks Andrea for joining us.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you for hosting me,
Always.
Amy, and thanks all of you in the Zoom room for giving us your attention and thinking about these shows. I hope you're as excited as I am.
VocalEye, vocaleye.ca. Special thanks to our funders, the Canada Council for the Arts, the British Columbia Arts Council, the Province of British Columbia, and the City of Vancouver.